want to be an artist until I'm close to college age. So technically it's not quite my choice to do the artist. It's kind of a coincidence. I always like to draw, I always like to paint when I was a kid, but I never really take it seriously. And then when you go to college, you have to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, and I kind of apply to different places and to different school, and then get into film school, and that's one of the choice I choose. So that's kind of how I stumble into film school. And at the time, Beauty and the Beast just come out, so I'm like, that's really cool. I want to do something like that, and so I decided to go to film school and figure maybe that would be something I could learn how to do it. And I didn't really know animation or how much work animation involved until I'm in grad school, because in Hong Kong there aren't as many animation education as here. Actually, there's none. At least back then when I was a student, there's no animation education. So the only animation we exposed to are like you watch TV, the anime or Disney stuff, but no one really show you how to do it. It's just watching the show. So for the longest time, even when I was a teenager, I thought animation is like somewhere in a magical world, you live action shooting some funky little people. So I'm very ignorant with what I'm doing or what I'm doing in college. So that's kind of how I get into the industry. Not as decisive as most artists at that age. Well, Hong Kong don't have animation school. What they have is called digital graphic communication. So it's kind of a really broad, general art education that is have a little bit of multimedia, like back then the early 90s interactive design, photography, live action, journalism, a little bit of animation. So it's kind of a very general kind of degree. And actually the degree, it doesn't even call Bachelor of Fine Art or Bachelor of Art. It's actually a Bachelor of Social Science. And I just get exposed to very, very little animation when I was in undergrad, but I enjoyed the process very much. And back then I didn't really realize how much work animation involved. We do need to walk cycle exercise, we do need to bouncing ball exercise, but those are very, very simple. And I thought, oh, that's fun. You make little character come to life, but no one really teaches anything. And after I graduate from undergrad, I'm like, I would like to learn more about this animation. I get exposed to it. I just want to learn more. And Hong Kong doesn't have any further education in animation. So I come to America and go to UCLA to study more about it. So that's kind of how I get into it. It's kind of more out of a curiosity and kind of just stumbling on it.
Electron grew tired of keeping back the dark alone. Then another, with a face like hers, was born.
Yes, strictly speaking, EA is my very first real job. Before that, I do some internship. After I graduate from school, do internship for a little studio called Marina Motion. At the time, they are working on the Adam Sandler's A Crazy Night feature, and I worked there as a PA. And my teacher, one of my teacher worked there, and she hired me and worked as a PA. So I learned more production stuff. So I do that for a couple of months. And then do some little freelance here and there, work at Neopet for a few months, and then I got an internship at EA, and that's how I officially started my career as an animator. At EA, my first project is Medal of Honor Rising Sun. It's a PS2 game. At school, I'm more focused in traditional animation. I learned a little bit of Maya, but never really get in-depth into character animation. So I learned a lot on Rising Sun because that's like my first job. I actually do 3D character animation. After that, we finished Rising Sun. I worked on another Medal of Honor franchise. Pacific Assault is the same franchise. The content is not too much different. After that, I worked a little bit on the cinematic of European Assault. It's a later game that come up after Pacific Assault. And then I changed company to Technicolor, and there I do a lot of game cinematic. Before at EA, we do mostly in-game animation, which is like gameplay animation. And Technicolor, I do more cinematic, so it's kind of like, it's more fun. You like tell little story about the character, about story. And then after Technicolor that go out of business last year, tough do indie stuff, do painting a little bit on my own. And then recently I just got a new job at Lucasfilm developing a story for Chrome Wars, the Star Wars animated series. Career-wise and personal project, there's a little bit difference. I think like in terms of personal growth as an artist, it's more like you just keep doing what you enjoy doing. One thing I learned throughout my career right now is not exactly very long compared to many seasonal talent people out there, but not very short either. So I kind of like in between, in the kind of the sandwich age that have some experience but not the most seasonal artist. What I learned is you kind of have to learn how to separate work and pressure. Even as an artist, it's like separate your work and then your personal work as a hobby and then your career as a job. I didn't learn that during my first 3 years at EA. When I was at EA, I just focused all my energy in work, and I actually neglect my personal development during the time. Besides work, I didn't go home and do anything. I didn't draw for 3 years, and after that, when I left EA, I realized this is not healthy. You get burned out very quickly, you lost your creative drive, and you just stop growing as an artist. Just the fact you have a job doesn't mean you're a good artist. It's just you're good at making one thing, whatever people ask you to do. And also psychologically, it's not very healthy. You're always stressed because you only have this work to live for. There's nothing, there's no other hobby you can outlet. There's no other outlet, creative outlet. So your creative life become very, very dry. So I kind of learned the lesson hard way. After EA, I realized, well, I get very burnt out. I don't feel like to do any artwork. I don't even like animation all that much after, like, especially during the EA times. We are during the EA spouse time, so there's like lots of overtime.